Good morning, beautiful souls. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday, man. Let's rock and roll. Spurs Thunder. Somebody old had to go. Guys, you know me, always thinking outside of the box. I said bet overtime, bet on the overtime rather, man. I had the score to be 122 to 122. Who would have thought that? What was the score? 115, 122. Spurs versus the Thunder. All right, guys, I'm not a sports betting individual when it comes to basketball, man. Actually, I don't even watch basketball, but due to the fees that come on your phone, and phone, man. You can, the minute you power on your phone, everything just comes to you, right? So that's kind of insane. Bet overtime game 122 to 122. So I'm still trying to figure some things out, man. So like I said, guys, even with football, I would always bet on an overtime game. I don't know how you go about that, or what's the wagers, or actually will you benefit. But thinking outside of the box, yeah, like we always do, right? Always try to go for the overtime, but it's a catch to this stuff. I just couldn't write 122 down, for no reason, guys. But many might say the NBA is rigged. I'm not going to say it's rigged, but they have a little they're a little suspect, to be honest, because the way I was thinking, and for me to come up with 122 and for the game to go overtime, that's the first thing my son said. Oh my God, Dad, they went triple. I think he said they went triple overtime or double. So I was like, yeah, but we're gonna get along. We're gonna go ahead and move on from this. Shout out to DC. DC, I think we had 806. Y'all please make sure y'all share the page out with a friend, man. I am really going through some things with YouTube. I mean, you upload a short, you got 80 views, but that same one thumbs up. So I am most definitely shadow banned, man. If it don't hurt, guys, can you just please share the page? That's the only way I would come out of this. If you feel like, nah, Negro, go ahead and stay in the mud. Oh well. I won't beg you, but let's go over some more states, man. Yesterday, guys, 36-44 should have been a whole thing, right? I don't even know, if anybody is even getting, some of my videos or shorts, man. So I don't know, man. YouTube just going to catch me one morning or one day, and I'm gonna just go ahead and decide to just take the app off my phone. I mean, unless Wallow come to save us. Wallow is the only one who can save us, man. With these social media apps. Therefore, I always mention that if Wallow, go ahead and invest in the app or something like that, to where as though that our voice can be heard. I mean, we won't have to worry about just getting shadow banned for no apparent reason. Yes, we want to be respectful on these platforms, man, and abide by the guidelines and stuff, but it just don't make no sense, to be shadow banned. I mean, how is that even a thing? How is that even a thing? But I want to just give a special shout out. Again, man, I was asleep yesterday. I think we had 806 too, guys, if you can remember. I asked everyone to keep it. And I want to just give a special shout out to Lonnie B again, guys, because believe it or not, Lonnie B is now the nation's capital direct plug. What does that mean? Anything you would want anybody to hear in the nation's capital, rather all over the world, Lonnie B is like really. Here it is right here, 860. But I emphasize this number, man. I was saying that it should come out, but it's here, man. So but anyway, long story short, man, whether you want to get something out, whether you just want to say good morning, DC, or whether you just want to just get your page up and going. I'm not saying it because that's what I'm doing, but you got to give credit where credit is due. And we know Steve Harvey started off with 102.3. And I mean, we're looking up now and we just see the things that Steve Harvey is doing. So y'all get to know Lonnie B, man, while you can, man. Go ahead and tune in to him. He's on all social media platforms. I believe he's on IG, Facebook. I'm pretty sure he's on TikTok. That's our plug here in DC, right? That's our plug. If you are gracious enough to get an invite from him, man, and he gets you, on his platform, man. I mean, that's what we need here in the nation's capital, right? So again, man, you always get credit where credit is due. So shout out to him, man. I always just say the brother is doing wonderful things, man. I mean, he's just always on a go with his shows. Hopefully one day, I can go visit one of them. But me, man, I just don't like to be around people, man. I'm not an introvert, but I just don't like to be around people, especially us. And it's sad to say. It's really sad to say, man. I mean, just, actually looking and just seeing the way we move, man. I just don't like to be around us. Like, if you look at the news, you've seen, the young gentleman in Chipotle. I know my daughter probably laughing like, Dad, you still can't pronounce Chipotle, Dad. Dad say Chipotle. I don't know. All I know is the food is nice pretty sometimes, but they just in there destroying the place, hitting each other with chairs. Man, the shit is disgusting. I ain't gonna say I said what I said. I mean, I'm already shadow banned, man. Like, I'm reminded of the homeboy, man. Like, where are these kids' parents, man? This shit is getting very disgusting. You over there in the Navy Yard, you're fighting. Masks on, hoods on, hot ass sweatpants. Man, like, when is it going to ever stop, guys? And you wonder why we're looked at like we're crazy. You wonder why. I was walking the other day, and pretty fairly, older gentleman, and I think it was, probably himself and his wife, right? And two Caucasian people was walking by. Now it put me right back in the mind of this COVID protocol stuff. Instead of them walking past the couple, they walked in the middle way of the street. And I was like, oh my God, I just know we're not doing this again. I just know we're not doing this again. Like, but you wonder why we always looked at like we're crazy. Half of these kids supposed to have been somewhere getting ready to get suited. Maybe, some might say, well, maybe they did, bro. They just still cutting up. Supposed to be getting ready to get suited for suits and ties. And your dad's supposed to be showing you how to, fix your tie, but they're in the restaurant throwing chairs and stuff, man. I just don't get it. Here we are right here, DC 806. I just don't get it, man. And man, it's like, whereas though now you're not safe wherever you go. You hope, man, I don't have to lay one of these youngins down. Who wants to live like that, man? Who wants to live like that? So with that being said, man, shout out to DC, man. Y'all make sure y'all tune in to Lonnie B. I believe he go. Actually, he can give you his number, his radio station number, man. You can call straight through. I believe Lonnie is on, if I'm not mistaken, is it Saturdays or something like that, 10:30 to 2, if I'm not mistaken, guys. But yeah, man, all you gotta do is just search him. He gonna have you laughing for days. The most funniest guy. I laid my eyes on him. I'm a jokester, so that speaks volume, man. But DC, man, that is your plug. That is your plug, man, to the nation's capital, man. So let's just love on him, man. I'm sure Lonnie, and he already said it though, no matter how famous he get, man, DC is always going to be home. I heard you on that, Lonnie. I don't know, bro. I think your tune might change pretty soon. I don't know. Only you know that, but let's continue to love on one another, guys, and whatever you do, stay out the way, man. Positivity over negativity all day long, man. Just, if it ain't positive, man, don't even touch it, man, at this point. Don't even touch it at this point, man. People, some people make different lanes, man. Sometimes, they got to sell themselves out, man, just be who you are. It's no lies to be told, guys. If you never was that person, leave it out. If you never was that person, it don't hurt to be yourself. It never hurt to be yourself. It never hurt. It never hurts to be yourself. So with that being said, beautiful souls, peace out. Wow, 122. Who would have ever thought? I'm not finished with it yet. Stay out of the way, guys. I'm gone.